This episode of Bourbon on Ice, presented by your friend Frosty and your bartender Mike Whiskey, is brought to you by the Cape Media Center of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. The views and opinions expressed during this podcast do not necessarily reflect those of the Cape Media Center. Listener discretion is advised.
This is usually the part where one of us says something.
I don't have anything today, though.
I don't have anything either.
Nothing witty. Roll the music.
Sure, I can do that. Welcome, listeners, to Bourbon on Ice.
Where we talk about everything nerdy, like gentlemen.
Join us every week for our local Cape Cod take on, well, everything.
Laugh, cry, be confused, and laugh some more.
I'm your friend Frosty.
And I'm your bartender, Mike Whiskey.
Stay tuned. You think they'll like the episode?
Oh, they'll definitely love it.
Yes, it's the Bucket Mouse!
The Bucket Mouse?
That is a really loaded reference to The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening.
Oh, yeah.
I have a feeling that if I don't remind people I'm both nerdy and gay frequently, they'll forget it.
Maybe.
Welcome to another episode of Bourbon on Ice, where we talk...
All things nerdy, like
gentlemen. I still love that tagline. I love it.
That came from our artist, and it was the best thing, one of the best things he's done for us.
Oh my gosh. AJ Rod Bratty, amazing work. And I forgot, again, to tell everyone where you can find us in the previous episode. I really got to remember to do that.
We got to plug ourselves a bit more often.
We got to plug our email more and our Twitter and our Tumblr. But no, we don't have a Tumblr. I have a Tumblr, and it's full of sexy, inappropriate things. So don't go to that. Now everyone wants to know where that is.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it! I had to go there. AJ Robrati, we will be posting a link to his work on our Twitter page. A Twitter page, which I am totally not looking up at this exact moment, which is Whiskey Frosty, at Whiskey Frosty.
Woohoo!
And of course, our email, whiskeyandfrosty@yahoo.com.
Bing.
Feel free to email us and let us know all sorts of things. And oh my gosh, Jonathan. Oh, cool. Sorry. A thing about Jonathan Young. He's awesome. But he's not what we're talking about.
Squirrel.
Doug.
No, I'm commenting on you. Squirrel.
And I'm pretending I'm Doug.
Yes. Another day, another Doug.
So, I believe we have an anniversary to discuss. Something very, very important to nerds everywhere, to cinephiles, to people who are fans of good taste and good storylines.
Or at the very least, cult classics.
I believe that we have something that everyone everywhere will instantly know the moment we say it.
Maybe not.
I don't think anyone will. Because, once again, I'm sorry, folks, you've stumbled into the Cape Cod nerd word. And we're talking about Cool World. I'm just going to let that sink in.
Yep, it was an interesting movie. I mean, I enjoyed it.
In 1992, on July 10th, yes, sorry.
Was it really 92?
92.
What? It's such an 80s movie, though.
I know, right? In 1992. And it was released for streaming in 2003. So, you know, it was trapped on VHS tapes for a while. 1992. A movie came out that was ripped into shreds by everyone with eyes and good taste. And then years later, it became an absolute treasure.
Of a cult classic.
No, I mean more because they were probably literally buried and people had to dig them up like fire treasure. July 10, 1992, Cool World, starring a litany of actors, many of whom were nobody at this point, or that most people did not know. Ralph Bakshi's 1992 live-action animated film, Cool World, riding the coattails of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Disney's amazing 1988 classic, which mixed live-action and hand-drawn animation.
Yeah.
But also a smattering of violence, death, adult situations, drugs, guns, all the things that you wouldn't think would be in hand-drawn animation.
Yeah, I mean, there's a dude who got melted too, wasn't there?
And someone who got run over by a frickin' bulldozer.
Yeah.
Sorry, steamroller.
Yeah.
Made it even worse. And someone got crushed by, was it piano or safe? All I know is that he was...
Very likely both.
Now I have to rewatch that one. I mean, I did a couple of months ago, but no. But here we are. It's 82, 83, 84... No, wait. I gotta do my counting.
92.
4 years later. There we go. I totally didn't just count on my fingers. You can't prove that. Stop looking at me the way.
I was just watching you.
Stop looking at me like that. You have no right to judge me. I'm stupid with math. Wait. Digging hole deeper.
Yes. Would you like a shovel?
I once asked one of my family members the same thing. Would you like a shovel so you can dig faster? How do people rate this movie? Well, let's see. There is a 4% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is that a critic score or audience score?
4.8 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database. 28% on Metacritic. And the box office. Oh my goodness. The box office. Yeah, I'm just gonna touch a couple of keys here. There we go.
Tap.
Tippity tap tap to tap tap tap, tappity tip tap. The box office was a cool 14.1 million against a budget of 28 million.
Ouch.
I know. It didn't even make it. Wow. 102 minutes from Paramount, starring Kim Basinger, Gabriel Byrne, and Brad Pitt.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Brad Pitt was just starting out.
What is this movie about? Oh, well, that's kind of hard to say. Okay, let me just scale it all the way back here. Cool world. You have a man who has gone to jail for murdering his wife and his wife's boyfriend in a rage. In jail, he started writing a comic book called Cool World. It became published, and everyone loved him. When he gets out, though, he dreams only of continuing his work. Little does he realize that Cool World is a real place, full of real beings, the strangest one being Hollywood. And that's H-O-L-I space W-O-U-L-D, as in Hollywood. And she does. And she does. Oh.
And boy, she does.
Little does he realize that this world is actually real, and he finds himself inexplicably drawn into it. And rather than just a fun romp through his wacky fantasy world full of prostitutes, drugs, gangsters, murderers, mobsters, and just general kookiness, he finds that Hollywood desperately wants to get out into the real world, setting off a chain reaction that could spell disaster for everyone. Give me a dun-dun-dun.
Dun-dun-dun.
I like it. So, does that sound like a riveting plot?
It sounds like it could be good, actually.
Yes, the only problem is it wasn't.
Good idea, poor execution.
Yes, to be completely blunt. As I said, this rode the coattails of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which was done by Disney, and as most people will agree, vastly superior in both animation, concept, and execution. And it also came out with a lot of money. But if you get all the way down to it, it was a critical and commercial failure. And let me click over to the Wikipedia page. Yes, I'm going to the pedia. I'm going there. Critics pan the film for its story, acting, animation, and effects combining animation with live-action footage. However, praise the soundtrack and the visuals. And
how can you criticize the art style and praise the visuals?
My guess is they must have had some really good still frames.
Ollie did it.
No, that's actually the tagline. Hollywood, if she could, and she will. On the movie poster is Hollywood, who is a kind of Marilyn Monroe-esque femme fatale in a small, very above-the-knee white cocktail dress, blonde, blue eyes, red lipstick, high heels, and she is leaning up against Brad Pitt, a very young Brad Pitt at this point. This is 92, I should point out, with gorgeous pompadour hair and a purple suit. And they're standing above like all of these creepy animated characters with gloves and glasses, giant teeth, and big red noses on the balcony of a building. If that doesn't rev your engine, I don't know what will. Whiskey, have you ever seen Cool World?
Once. I think it was like 13 or something.
Oh my, you were young.
Yeah.
What on earth were you thinking?
Elder Nerd introduced it to me.
Elder Nerd.
Yep.
Why am I not surprised?
No, you shouldn't be surprised at all.
I am definitely not surprised by that at all. What did the two of you think of that? I just have to know.
I remember liking it. I don't remember a thing about it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That makes an outstanding amount of sense. I mean, in 1988, he did The Dark Side of the Sun, where he was just a child, basically, hiding from the sun, because if it caught him, he would burst into flames. And then he was making guest appearances in things like Head of the Class and Freddy's Nightmares. He didn't really get anything big until like the 90s, because that's when I remember he jumped into Interview with a Vampire. Brad Pitt. I mean, so this movie was before he was a real household name. I know that in 1991 he was Johnny Suede, but that wasn't, the thing that really broke him into being a Hollywood household name.
Wasn't it Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
No. He was in a lot of stuff way before then, like Legends of the Fall. And I will be blunt. Years ago, and don't forget 7. Years ago, 12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys.
You got an award for 12 Monkeys.
But don't go to...
I will be blunt. It was one of those things that was just on television one day. I flipped onto it, and there is Brad Pitt driving a motorcycle. And I said, oh, what an interesting movie. And then he crashed it.
All right.
Yeah, I shut it off at that moment for heaven knows what reason. Little did I know, that was the same movie. That was the same movie as Cool World.
Oh.
Because he inexplicably is so angry and sad because his mother was on the motorcycle too and she dies, that he is transported into Cool World. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, how many isekais have we seen now? Truck-kun.
What? What?
For anyone who's an anime fan, isekai is another world genre, and the most common way that our anime protagonist enters the another world is with a little help from our friend Truck-kun. He gets hit by a truck.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize there was an actual word for that.
Yeah.
Huh, I learned something. It's like the Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
It's a phrase that people, don't know where it came from, and it quite literally came from Chekhov saying, why is there a gun on the stage if no one's going to fire it?
Exactly. It needs to be fired or used or reached for or something by the third act.
This movie, and I don't care if I'm spoiling this, I think everyone should have watched it by now, should have suffered as we did.
I didn't suffer. I enjoyed Cool World.
Would you watch it again?
Yeah.
Sober?
Yeah.
Not high?
Yeah.
You're braver than I am. Like, literally 2 years ago, or maybe it was even last year, I finally said, I've been meaning to watch Cool World forever. I think I'm going to watch it. And I watched it and I said, okay, this is too weird even for me. Blah, 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 blah. Frank Harris accidentally crashes his motorcycle, winds up in Cool World. Then years later, you got Jack Deebs, who gets out of prison and gets sucked into Cool World. And then he meets Holly Ruled, who does sucking of her own, because there's a rule in Cool World. Noids do not have sex with doodles. Noids are human beings, and doodles are Cool World's inhabitants, which are drawn.
Yeah.
So there's some really bad animation going on the screen. Like, the human characters are getting punched or attacked or interacting with things, and you can tell that they are green screening the hell out of this. Brad Pitt grabs a guy by the neck, and it's like moving around his hands so much. Then, after both Holly and Jack do the dirty deed, she turns into a human, and they're able to leave Cool World because, why not? I mean, the logic, it's so clear. It is right there in black and white. I'm getting this. Are you getting this?
I'm following.
I'm totally following it. They then go into the real world, And Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby. You know, that's when we see possibly the biggest celebrity at this point in the movie, and it's not Brad Pitt. It was Frank Sinatra Jr.
Nice.
himself singing at a lounge.
Nice.
And, you know, they go into the lounge. Holly's all, oh, I'm in the human world. I want to have fun, except in a breathier voice because it's Kim Basinger. Just their presence there suddenly starts to break reality. She starts turning into a clown. A sexy clown, but a clown. And everyone around them starts changing into things. And then, in a fit of rage, when poor Frank comes to arrest her, she kills him. Throws him off a building.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
He falls to his death and dies from death and is dead because of it.
People die if they are killed.
And they can still be dead as a result. To this day.
Yeah.
At which point, Holly remembers there's some mysterious thing like a spike of power, which conveniently is located on top of the very casino that she was singing in.
Oh, how convenient.
Because why not? Climbs to the top of it, pulls out the spike of power, and it releases doodles into the world, and the human world starts turning into a comic book. Characters everywhere. At which point, Deebs turns into a superhero, flies up, and puts the spike back. And everything goes back to the way it was. But what of poor dead Frank? Well, Frank is transported back to Cool World.
As a doodle.
No, as a corpse. But he has a girlfriend there.
Oh, cool.
A girlfriend who is... I'm trying not to... I'm really freaking trying not to... Lynette. Lynette is his girlfriend, and she is a doodle. But they've been platonic because they can't have sex. But she sees his dead body and says, wait a minute. Anyone who's been murdered, any real guy who's been murdered by a doodle, turns into a doodle themselves. Because apparently that makes sense. And right in front of her, the corpse comes to life, and Brad Pitt turns into a doodle. And his first lines are, Hubba Bubba, baby. And he and Lynette embrace, and they make love. After throwing, you know, an animated spider out of their apartment.
No, it's not surprising to me that Ralph Bakshi actually got into porn in the late 90s.
I wonder why. I wonder what tipped everyone off that was going to happen. So, I guess it's been 30 years to salute this classic. What the heck? Let's end it off in style. We're raising a glass to you. Here's to Cool World.
Here's the Cool World.
30 years of excellence.
Excrement. I mean, excellent.
Clink.
The Cape Media Center, located in Dennisport, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, is a non-profit community media center and the public access TV station for the towns of Barnstable, Yarmouth, Dennis, Harwich, and Chatham. Our mission is to build community through media, enhance democratic communication, and facilitate free expression by providing these towns with a state-of-the-art media resource center. Members can become trained in our video and audio equipment and produce their own media content. Membership includes training classes, access to our field equipment, studios, and facility, as well as airtime. Podcasters and music producers can share their content on our website. For more information, visit capemedia.org.
According to the Chicago Sun-Times, Roger Ebert, does anyone remember him? I do.
I don't.
You don't?
No.
Siskel and Ebert?
Nope.
Wow. I forget that you're younger than me sometimes.
Yep.
They were the big critics. They were like the golden critics. What they said could make or break a film. He discussed the film as, he said, it misses one opportunity after another, a surprisingly incompetent film. Another review said, it's too serious to be fun, too goofy to take seriously. Lead characters unlikable and unappealing. Looks like a Roger Corman version of Roger Rabbit. Then there's Chris Hicks from Deseret News, a one-joke movie, and it's a dirty joke. I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, that's
I really like that.
Yeah.
6th at the North American box office with $5.5 million. Oh my gosh. So in its opening weekend, it made $5.5, and out of the $14 million, Oh, wow, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's its lifetime gross. Okay. But then, in 1997, John Grant from the Encyclopedia of Fantasy stated that Cool World stands as one of the fantastic cinema's most significant achievements and instauration fantasy that reveals greater depths with each viewing. 2005, animation historian Jerry Beck described the film as adults and Bakshi completists only.
Yeah.
Great premise, great cast, best animation he's ever been involved with. But a pointless rehash of many of Ralph's favorite themes, and the story literally goes nowhere.
Yeah, that's accurate.
And Kim Basinger got a Razzie nomination. She didn't even win the award. It was bad enough that she got a Razzie nomination, but not the award. I like that. I'm sorry, but I like that. Now, the thing was praised for its soundtrack. I will point that out. And the moment I mention that to some people, they instantly say one song, and that's Play With Me by the Thompson Twins. It's the song that opens it, and you hear it throughout it a lot. You can look it up on YouTube. Play With Me by Thompson Twins. Really good. And I guarantee you there'll be like an image of Hollywood in her tiny little white dress. Yep, there it is. Her tiny little white backless dress.
Woo!
Now, down, boy. You have an MJ.
I do.
You have an MJ.
I'll get her a dress like that.
There was one celebrity, I forget. She likes to dress up as the sexiest characters every single year. One year she was Jessica Rabbit, and one year she was Hollywood. It was a loaded meta reference, but I got it. I'm looking over this soundtrack, and the number one song, the first song is Real Cool World by David Bowie.
David Rocks.
Just having David Bowie on a soundtrack lends legitimacy to it.
Yep.
Did you know he wrote a song for the SpongeBob SquarePants musical?
I believe it.
It's called No Control.
Oh boy.
Quite literally, the entire town has just discovered they're going to be destroyed.
We just did musicals last episode, man. Keep the musicals out.
I refuse. Do you think you can stifle me? Well, you can. There's a record button right there. If you just pushed it, you wouldn't be able to hear me. Keep your hands away from it, damn it. Play With Me, the Thompson Twins. Disappointed, Electronic. Papua New Guinea, NWO, The Witch, Sex on Wheels with a Z. Moby. Next is the E, Moby. There's Moby on this. Mindless, Do That Thing by Da Juice. Under by Brian Eno, and Industry and Seduction by Tom Bailey. So yeah, that's a, for a 1990s soundtrack, it does have a lot going into it.
Yeah.
Not saying that everything is good. I'm just saying it's very involved as a soundtrack.
Yeah.
And some of my friends, even Robert, actually, he told me, he loved the soundtrack. Some of them said, we have the soundtrack. And I said, you poor people, what's wrong with you? Because I'm assuming for the 90s, it was a cassette tape.
Yeah, it would have been a cassette tape.
Why in the world? 30 years of this movie. And this, I think if tomorrow someone said, let's do a Cool World revival, I'm in.
A Cool World musical?
Musical, I'd be in. But if someone said, I want to take the concept of Cool World and do it now, but with better story, better actors. Sorry, Brad Pitt, this was early in your career. This was the early time. This was the stuff you pretend you don't know about.
The technology has come a long way to make this possible.
Magic word right there, the technology.
Yep.
I mean, how many movies do people look at and say, oh, that movie would have been a success if they'd had A, better actor or actress, B, better special effects, C, if they had changed the ending? Well, we've had 30 years to think about it. I think this could be done. I mean, they did come back with Space Jam, and how did that do?
Space Jam, not well.
I'm looking that up. Space Jam 2, A New Legacy. Oh, is that what it was called?
Yeah.
I barely gave this thing a second thought.
I think a lot of people did too.
Oh my gosh, Zendaya was Lola Bunny? That's awesome! I don't know why that's awesome. But it's a thing! Okay, so...
Space Jam DVD.
Space Jam, A New Legacy. Oh, wow. 150 million budget, 163 million box office. Ooh.
Yep.
And the critical response was 26 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep.
It has the same 4.4. That's the same as Cool World. I'm so sorry. You gave it a good shot. You tried. It failed.
Yep.
A C- from the AV Club. Did anyone really need that? Okay, but my logic remains. Someone says today, hey, let's do a Cool World revival, sequel, spin-off. I am there.
See, this is the problem. We don't need a Cool World spin-off, sequel, revival. We can take the premise and ideas of Cool World and make something new.
Go further. Tell me more.
I don't have anything more. It just needs to be something new. There's just a lack of creativity, I think, these days in Hollywood or Hollyweird.
Holly done it. Holly did it.
Hollywood. She did.
She did. I don't know. I would be interested if someone said they were going to come up with this. Because remember they just came out with that Chip and Dale movie?
Yeah.
And that apparently did okay. I'm not saying it shook the world, but apparently it did okay.
Yeah.
So the concept is there. The concept is there that people still like blending of live action and animation, and they didn't use just straight hand-drawn. They used a lot of different things in it.
Well, we blend a lot of live action animation these days anyways because of the CGI.
The Cuphead show on Netflix, there are moments in there where you're just marveling at how the background is so delightfully retro with them using old things. Like you see actual running water, which has been CG to look like a cartoon, but in the foreground, it's new. And you would just accept that. You just go along with it because it's blended so well, something that can be done with today's technology. I think Cool World, which is a cult movie, like you said,
yeah,
great premise, lousy execution, great premise. It could be done.
It could.
I also want to point out that there are at least 4 video games that came out of Cool World.
Oh, no way.
And do you want to guess how well those did?
Not.
No. Let's see. Cool World, Commodore 64, Amiga, Atari ST, and MS-DOS.
Well, that's why it came out on the Commodore.
And then in 93, they released a SNES version.
Okay.
But the versions were not... I actually got my hands on some emulator material.
Mm-hmm.
I had no urge to do it. It wasn't creative. It wasn't clever. You were basically just running from one screen to the next. They were just bad. So if they could have done one thing that would have made this movie worse, it was release 5 terrible video games to accompany it. I almost feel like they should have taken the thing to an alley, made it kneel down, and shot it in the back of the head. That's how bad this was. Let me look here. Yep, there it is. Action, single player. It was first mentioned in issue 47 of Nintendo Power.
Oh, wow.
I have Nintendo Powers. I have a whole trunk of them.
Nice.
Yeah. And it has a 2 out of 5 stars, a 3.25 out of 5 from Nintendo Power themselves, and a 75% rating from Power Unlimited. So literally the only good things that came out of Cool World were the concept and the music.
Yep.
We should totally have a dance party to that. We shouldn't, but we're not going to. But we should.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
We could. Hollywood.
Holly did.
Yeah.
That scene.
How long are we going to keep this joke going?
That scene where she's in the bar and she's just doing that dance and all the wolves are going, just panting. It was bad. But she could dance. She could shake that thing.
Yeah.
Some of the best hand-drawn animation I've seen,
Well,
and I wasted it on that moment.
I wonder if a lot of it was rotoscoped, too.
There's the possibility. I bet if you actually got all the way down to this thing, they employed a lot of clever tricks, but seeing as Disney at that point kind of had the monopoly on hand-drawn animation, best technology, best animators too.
Yep.
These people were probably scrabbling for the crumbs that they could find, and they did a good enough. It was a good enough attempt. God bless them, but they fell short of the mark.
Mm.
Oh my gosh! I just remembered another one. Rockadoodle.
Rockadoodle.
I think I may be the only one who's ever seen that.
Perhaps.
I swear I'm not making it up.
I believe you.
It's about a rooster who is based off of Elvis, and every time he crows, the sun comes up. But there's an owl, an evil, magical owl, who doesn't want him to do that, so he gets him exiled to a Las Vegas-type city. And at the same time, this is a book that a child is reading, a human child, and then when like the characters realize that he's reading, they suck him into the book and turn him into a cat. I swear I didn't make this up. It's real.
In some fever dream.
I did have the chicken pox as a kid. Maybe that's when this came to me. I need to go lie down now. Has my whole life been just one lie?
One constant Mandela effect?
Dude, that's deep.
Yeah.
It's like Stranger Things Argyle deep.
That's
It's pineapple on pizza deep.
That's getting a little bit too high off a doobie deep.
Like I said. Ah! Oh man, I think that was poisonous.
Oh, Frosty, that looks bad.
I don't feel so good. I think this is the end.
Oh, Frosty, no. Is there anything I can do for you?
As a matter of fact, yes. I have the cable guy coming Monday. Could you please be at my house to let him in? Also, there's a slice of cheesecake in the fridge that's going to go bad. Finish it, would you? It was expensive, but turns out it's blueberry. I can't stand blueberry. When you're done, throw out the milk. It's expired by now, and I never got around to it. When you're in the kitchen, please make sure to check under the table. Sometimes the dogs leave scraps under there. Give it a quick dusting. Next Tuesday, I have a PT appointment. Could you let them know I'm not going to make it? Also, tell my guy hi for me, and make sure that everyone knows no one gets my stuff. I want it to all be buried with me. Then someone needs to make my last tuition payment for the semester. Could you get on that, will you?
Will there be anything else?
I've never particularly enjoyed your company.
Right back at you, buddy. Right back at you.
Just a reminder, this episode of Bourbon on Ice is brought to you by Market Street Bookshop in Mashpee Commons, located at 31 Market Street, Mashpee, Massachusetts. Embrace diversity and find support for local authors and artists at the Market Street Bookshop, where your favorite new read is just a browse away. For more information, give them a call at 508-539-6985. I feel that's important to let people know. Reading is important.
It is very important.
I have spent far too much time away from people, reading books and losing myself in fantasy worlds.
It's fun.
I see no reason to stop. I don't like people.
I once read the entire Aragon, or...
The Thing with the Dragon?
Yeah, Aragon by Christopher Paolini.
Another example of something that was made into a movie but crashed.
Yeah, the movie didn't do very well. But when Eldest, the second book came out, my mom brought me, I was just a young kid, brought me out to the bookstore. We picked it up because I had pre-ordered it. And I finished the entire, 500 pages in a single day. It was great.
Sorry, I'm laughing. It's just the last time I was in my house, I finally saw what you look like as a child from one of your pictures.
You can picture it.
I don't have to now. You had a bowl cut.
Yeah. I had no say in that.
None of us did. I don't think any of us chose bowl cuts. I think our parents did that to us just to make us suffer as horrible people that they were.
Yep.
There are people out there saying the true monster of Stranger Things is the character Will's barber, because for 4 seasons he has had the same bowl cut. I agree with it. That thing is evil. So, you want to close this out?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, then. Next time on Bourbon on Ice, we take a deep dive
into my comic book collection, that is.
Wait, seriously?
Seriously, we're talking comics, both reading and writing them.
This will end badly. Or not. Either way, as always,
have a cold one on us.
So we're really doing this?
Yeah, comics. All things nerdy. Gentlemen.
Man, can't we go back to talking about weird musicals based on 1980s films?
No.
This podcast was recorded at and produced by Cape Media Center on Cape Cod, Massachusetts by podcasting duo Mike Whiskey and your friend Frosty. All music and sound credits go to soundstripe.com. Special thanks to Jamie Horton, Emily Tulloch, Gabrielle Rawson. For more information on Bourbon on Ice, visit our social media page at twitter.com/whiskeyfrosty. For more information on Cape Media Center, visit capemedia.org. For more listening options and a variety of podcasting entertainment, visit our hosts at buzzsprout.com and capemediacenter.org.